"My buns are soft and hard today," she whispers, leaning across the counter with eyes that promise trouble. The millionaire's coffee cup stops halfway to his lips as heat floods through him. "She's just talking about bread, isn't she?" Her voice carries just enough breathiness to make the words sound completely naughty. Daniel sets down his cup slowly. His heart pounds as he studies her face. 3 months of coming to Sweet Morning Bakery, and Cassie still manages to surprise him. She has this way of making simple conversation feel like secrets shared between lovers, even when discussing pastries. Her mischievous smile grows wider as she gestures toward the display case. Fresh dinner rolls sit perfectly golden in neat rows. "The soft ones just came out of the oven," she continues, her green eyes dancing. "But if you want something with more structure, I have day-old French rolls that still have some fight left." Daniel feels his chest tighten. Every morning she plays this game with him. Sweet double meanings wrapped in innocent bakery talk. He's a tech billionaire who owns 3 companies, but here he sits, completely charmed by a small-town waitress who treats words like toys. "Is that your professional recommendation?" he asks, matching her playful tone. His gray eyes hold hers, and he catches the way she bites her lower lip when being deliberately provocative. The morning light streaming through windows catches the flour dusting her black apron, making her look almost magical. She straightens up, tucking honey-colored hair behind her ear. The movement draws his attention to her neck, where he can see her pulse fluttering. "Some men prefer soft and yielding," she replies, voice dropping lower. "Others like something they can really sink their teeth into." For someone featured on Forbes twice, Daniel spends way too much time thinking about this woman. She probably sees him as another customer in work boots and faded jeans. She has no idea about his real identity, his wealth, his complicated world outside this cozy bakery. Cassie leans forward again, close enough that he catches vanilla and cinnamon on her skin. "I'm in the business of temptation," she says, making his name sound like silk when she whispers Daniel. The way her lips form each letter makes something warm unfurl in his chest. 3 months, and she's never asked his last name. Never pushed for details about his flexible work schedule or why he always pays cash. In a town where everyone knows everything, she's let him stay mysterious. He's fallen deeper each day because of it. "And what if someone wanted both?" he asks, voice dropping lower. Soft and hard. The question hangs between them, loaded with meaning that has nothing to do with bread. Cassie's breath catches, just for a moment, and something flickers across her face. She recovers with a smile that's pure invitation. Her hands tremble slightly as she moves around the counter, selecting rolls with practiced grace. "Well," she says, eyes locked on his, "I suppose that depends on what you're hungry for." Before we continue, please like this video, subscribe, and let me know where you are watching from. Daniel pulls out his wallet to pay, and Cassie's eyes widen at the thick stack of bills inside. He quickly grabs a 5, hoping she didn't notice. Construction workers don't usually carry that much cash. He's been careful for 3 months, but small mistakes keep happening around her. "Keep the change," he says, trying to sound casual. Cassie raises an eyebrow, studying his face with new interest. Her fingers brush his as she takes the money, and the touch sends electricity up his arm. She lets the contact linger longer than necessary. "Big spender today," she teases, but her voice carries a question. "Construction business must be really good lately." She tilts her head, watching him with those sharp green eyes that seem to see everything. Daniel shifts uncomfortably under her gaze, feeling exposed. This morning routine started simple enough. He'd discovered Sweet Morning Bakery during a drive through town, needing escape from board meetings and corporate pressure. The cozy space felt like stepping into another world. Then Cassie appeared, all warmth and playful energy, making him want to stay. Their first conversation was about coffee preferences. She recommended the house blend with a smile that made his day brighter. By week 2, she was saving him the corner table by the window. By month 2, their daily flirtation had become the reason he got out of bed. Daniel watches her move behind the counter, graceful and confident in her domain. She knows every regular customer's order by heart. Mrs. Patterson gets whole wheat toast, no butter. Tommy from the garage wants double chocolate muffins. But with Daniel, she always takes extra time, always adds that special spark. "You know," Cassie says, wiping down the counter near his hands, "most construction guys I know are in here by 5:30, early start times." Her cloth makes slow circles, and her eyes never leave his face. "You always show up around 8, different kind of job." Heat creeps up Daniel's neck. He's rehearsed answers for questions like this, but Cassie's direct stare makes his prepared lies feel heavy. "Flexible schedule," he manages. I work with different contractors. The half-truth tastes bitter on his tongue. She nods slowly, but something in her expression suggests she's filing away information. Cassie has always been observant. She notices when he's stressed, when he needs extra coffee, when something weighs on his mind. Today feels different, like she's actively studying him. Must be nice having that freedom, she continues, moving closer. Her apron brushes against the counter edge, and Daniel catches another hint of that vanilla scent. Choose your own hours, work when you want, very independent. The way she says independent sounds almost knowing. Daniel's phone buzzes against his leg, probably his assistant with urgent messages about today's merger talks. He ignores it, but Cassie notices his slight flinch. Nothing gets past her, and he's starting to realize how many small tells he's been giving away. Popular guy, she observes as his phone buzzes again. Lots of people need you. Her smile turns softer, more genuine. That must get tiring sometimes, always being needed. The insight hits closer to home than she could possibly know. He studies her face, wondering how she reads people so well. Cassie has this gift for seeing beneath surfaces, for asking questions that matter. In his real world, people want to know his net worth before his favorite color. Here she asks if he's sleeping well, if he's happy. Sometimes, he admits, the honesty surprising him. Some days, I just want to disappear, be someone completely different. The confession slips out before he can stop it. Cassie's expression grows thoughtful, like she's solving a puzzle in her mind. She reaches across the counter, her fingertips barely touching his wrist. Maybe that's exactly what you're doing here, she says quietly. The contact is feather light, but it grounds him completely. Maybe this is your disappearing place. Daniel's breath catches. 3 months of careful deception, and she's seen right through him in one moment. Not the details, but the truth underneath. He's been running, and somehow she knows. The weight of his secrets suddenly feels crushing. Cassie, he starts, then stops. How can he explain that everything she knows about him is carefully constructed lies? That the man she's been flirting with doesn't really exist? That he's been using her kindness as an escape from his complicated life? Her thumb traces across his knuckles, gentle and understanding. Whatever you're carrying, Daniel, it's making your shoulders tight. Her voice holds no judgment, only concern. You look like someone who forgot how to relax. The observation cuts deep, because it's absolutely true. When did he last feel genuinely at peace? Before his companies exploded, before money changed how people treated him, before success became a prison. Maybe not since he was a kid. You don't know me as well as you think, he says, but the words lack conviction. Cassie's smile turns mysterious, like she's holding back something important. Her fingers squeeze his hand once before pulling away. Maybe not, she agrees, turning to refill his coffee cup. But I know you well enough to see you're hiding something big. She looks back over her shoulder, eyes twinkling. The question is whether you trust me enough to share it. Hit that subscribe button if you love stories where nothing is what it seems. Daniel stares into his coffee, guilt eating at him like acid. 3 months of lies weigh heavy on his chest. Every sweet smile Cassie gives him feels like a knife twist. She thinks he's someone real, someone honest. Instead, he's just another rich guy playing pretend. The bakery fills with morning customers, but Daniel only sees her. Cassie moves between tables with easy grace, chatting with everyone like old friends. She remembers Mr. Chen's wife is sick, asks about Jenny's new baby. She cares about people, really cares. What would she think of his deception? You're quiet today, Cassie says, returning to his table with fresh coffee. Her hand rests on his shoulder, warm and comforting. Something wrong? The genuine concern in her voice makes his stomach twist. She deserves so much better than his lies. Daniel looks up at her face so open and trusting. Cassie, what if someone you knew turned out to be completely different? The words tumble out before he can stop them. What if everything they told you was fake? She sits down across from him, green eyes searching his face. Are we talking about someone specific? Her voice stays gentle, but he catches the slight tension in her shoulders. Or are we talking about you? His mouth goes dry. She's too smart, sees too much. I'm asking for a friend, he lies, hating himself more with each word. Cassie's lips twitch like she wants to smile, but her eyes stay serious and knowing. Your friend sounds troubled, she says carefully. Lying usually comes from being scared. Maybe your friend is afraid the real person wouldn't be accepted. Her fingers trace patterns on the table, and Daniel watches those graceful movements, memorizing them. The morning sun streams through windows, making dust dance in golden beams. Other customers laugh and chat, but their corner table feels separate, private. Daniel wants to tell her everything, but fear holds his tongue. What if she walks away? What if the lies were really big ones? He presses. What if your friend was pretending to be someone completely different, poor instead of rich, simple instead of complicated? His heart pounds as he waits for her answer. Cassie leans back in her chair, studying him with those sharp eyes. How big are we talking? Like hiding a gambling problem big, or hiding a secret family big? Her tone stays light, but Daniel sees the careful way she watches his reaction. More like hiding a whole different life, Daniel admits. The words feel like stones dropping from his mouth. Money, status, responsibilities, everything the complete opposite of what they claimed. He holds his breath, waiting for her judgment. Something shifts in Cassie's expression. Her playful mask slips, revealing something deeper underneath. Everyone hides parts of themselves, she says quietly. The question is why? Are they hiding something bad, or just protecting something precious? Her words surprise him. Most people would be angry about deception, but Cassie seems to understand complexity. What do you mean? He asks, leaning forward. For the first time, she looks almost vulnerable, like she has secrets too. People aren't simple, she explains, her voice softer now. We all wear different faces for different situations. The real question is whether the person underneath all the masks is someone worth knowing. Her eyes meet his, and he sees pain there, old wounds carefully hidden. You sound like you know about hiding, Daniel observes. Cassie's smile turns sad, confirming his guess. She has secrets of her own, burdens she carries alone. The realization makes his chest ache for her. Maybe I do, she admits. Maybe I understand what it's like to feel trapped by circumstances, to wish you could start over somewhere new. Her confession hangs between them, heavy with meaning. They're both running from something. Daniel reaches across the table, covering her hand with his. What are you hiding from? The question comes out gentler than he intended. Cassie's fingers tense under his touch, but she doesn't pull away. That's not your secret to carry, she says, but her voice lacks its usual strength. We're talking about your friend, remember? The deflection feels familiar. He recognizes the careful redirect of someone protecting painful truths. The moment stretches between them, loaded with unspoken understanding. Two people carrying secrets, finding comfort in shared deception. But Daniel's lies suddenly feel too heavy to bear alone. The weight of 3 months of pretending crushes down on him. Cassie, he begins, then stops. His throat feels tight, words stuck like glue. How do you confess to someone that everything they know about you is fake? How do you ask forgiveness for 3 months of carefully planned lies? She waits patiently, not pushing or demanding. Her thumb traces across his knuckles, offering silent support. The gentle touch gives him courage to continue, to take the terrifying leap into honesty. What if I told you I'm not exactly who you think I am? The words come out as a whisper. Daniel's heart hammers so hard he's sure she can hear it. Everything depends on her reaction, on whether she can forgive his deception. Cassie goes very still. Her green eyes search his face, looking for clues about what he means. The silence stretches long enough that Daniel starts to panic. Maybe he's made a terrible mistake. Maybe honesty will destroy everything between them. Are you married? She asks finally. Criminal? Running from the law? Her questions come quick and worried, like she's imagining the worst possibilities. Please tell me you're not some kind of danger to people. Nothing like that, Daniel assures her quickly. More like the opposite. I'm not dangerous, just very different from what you believe. Relief flickers across her face, but confusion remains. She's trying to solve the puzzle of him. Different how? She presses gently. Rich instead of poor, famous instead of ordinary, royal prince hiding in small-town America. The last suggestion comes with a small smile, but her eyes stay serious, waiting for his answer. Daniel takes a deep breath, knowing this moment changes everything. I own companies, 3 of them, tech businesses worth more money than this whole town combined. The confession tumbles out in a rush. I live in a penthouse, not above Murphy's Hardware. Cassie blinks slowly, processing his words. He waits for anger, for feeling used or manipulated. Instead, she asks the last question he expected. Are you happy? The simple question hits him like a punch. What? He stammers. I just told you I've been lying for 3 months, and you ask if I'm happy. Because that's what matters, she says simply. Money doesn't make people honest or good, but unhappy people sometimes make choices they regret later. So I'm asking, does your real life make you happy? Her response breaks something open inside his chest. No anger about being deceived, no excitement about his wealth. Just concern for his well-being, just caring about his happiness. Daniel feels tears prick his eyes at her unexpected kindness. Comment below, would you forgive someone for hiding their true identity? No, Daniel answers honestly, his voice breaking. I'm not happy, haven't been for years. The truth tastes bitter but freeing. Cassie's face softens, and she squeezes his hand tighter. Her touch anchors him as words pour out like water through a broken dam. I have 3 tech companies, software, apps, digital security. Forbes put me on their cover twice. I own a penthouse in the city, drive cars worth more than houses. His voice grows stronger with each confession. But every day feels empty, like I'm drowning in other people's expectations. Cassie listens without judgment, her green eyes never leaving his face. No gold digger gleam appears, no calculating look. She watches him like she's seeing his soul for the first time. Her calm reaction makes his chest tight with emotion he can barely name. The board meetings, charity galas, business dinners. Everyone wants something from me. Money, connections, influence. Nobody cares if I sleep well or laugh anymore. Daniel's thumb traces across her knuckles, drawing strength from her warmth. I felt like I was disappearing into my bank account. So you came here, Cassie says softly, to this little bakery where nobody knew your name or cared about your money. Her understanding voice wraps around him like comfort. You wanted to remember who you were before all the success. Daniel nods, throat too tight for words. She gets it completely. Sees through his pain instead of his wealth. In his world of corporate sharks, Cassie's genuine care feels like finding water in a desert. Her acceptance heals something broken inside him. 3 months ago, I was driving through town, trying to clear my head after a terrible meeting. Investors wanted me to fire half my staff to increase profits. His voice grows rough with memory. I saw your bakery sign and stopped for coffee. You smiled at me like I mattered. You do matter, Cassie whispers. Her fingers tighten around his, and Daniel feels tears threatening. Money doesn't change that. Success doesn't change that. You matter because you're kind to strangers, because you listen when people talk, because you tip well and say thank you. The simple truth of her words breaks him open. Daniel has spent years believing his worth came from his achievements, his companies, his net worth. But Cassie values him for things money can't buy. Her perspective shifts everything inside him. I kept coming back because you made me feel human again, he continues. You joked about bread, asked about my day, treated me like a regular person. For 1 hour each morning, I could just be Daniel, not CEO Daniel or billionaire Daniel. Cassie's smile grows warmer, more tender. You were always just Daniel to me. The construction worker story was cute, but I could tell you were running from something bigger. Her honesty surprises him. She's been seeing through his act all along. You knew, he asks, feeling foolish. Cassie chuckles, the sound like music in the quiet bakery. Other customers have left for work, giving them privacy for this moment of truth. Sunlight streams across their joined hands, making everything feel golden and possible. Honey, construction workers don't carry $1,000 wallets or check their phones every 5 minutes for urgent messages, she teases gently. Plus, your hands are too soft for manual labor. But I figured you'd tell me when you were ready. Daniel laughs despite his emotional state. Of course she noticed. Cassie notices everything, sees people clearly. Her patience with his deception shows a kindness that makes him fall deeper. She could have called him out months ago, but chose to let him find his courage. I was running, he admits fully. From responsibility, from loneliness, from a life that felt like prison. But sitting here with you every morning, I started remembering what happiness could feel like. You gave me something worth getting up for. The confession hangs between them, heavy with meaning. Cassie's eyes shine with unshed tears, and Daniel realizes he's never been this honest with anyone. His whole carefully controlled world has cracked open, leaving him vulnerable, but strangely free. And now, she asks quietly, are you still running? Her question holds his future in its answer. Daniel looks around the cozy bakery, at the woman whose morning laughter became his anchor, and knows his running days are over. Now I think I found something worth staying for, he says, his voice rough with emotion. The words taste like promises, like commitment, like choosing love over fear. Cassie's breath catches, and her grip on his hand tightens. She stands slowly, moving around the counter, until she's close enough to touch his face. Her fingers trace his cheek, gentle and sure. If you're staying, I should probably feed you properly, she whispers. Can't have you surviving on just coffee and pastries anymore. The intimate moment crackles with electricity. Daniel rises, stepping closer until their bodies almost touch. Her vanilla scent surrounds him, making his heart race. Is that an offer? He asks, voice dropping low and rough with want. That's a promise, Cassie whispers back. Her hand slides down to rest against his chest, feeling his rapid heartbeat. But fair warning, I don't do anything halfway. If you want the full Cassie experience, you need to be ready for everything that comes with it. Daniel's pulse pounds under her palm. What does that mean? He asks, though his body already knows the answer. Her smile turns seductive, full of heat and mischief that makes his knees weak. It means soft and hard, she murmurs, stepping even closer, sweet and challenging, comfortable and absolutely breathtaking. I'll love you through your worst days and celebrate your best ones, but I'll also push you, challenge you, keep you honest. Her words wash over him like fire. Daniel's hands find her waist, pulling her closer until no space remains between them. Her promise of complexity, of real partnership, thrills him more than any business deal ever could. I wouldn't want it any other way, he breathes against her ear. Cassie shivers at his words, her body melting into his embrace. The bakery around them fades as they hold each other. 3 months of tension finally finding release. Good, she whispers, lips brushing his neck. Because my special orders are always worth the wait. Her breath against his skin makes him dizzy with want. Daniel's arms tighten around her, holding her like she might disappear. How long do I have to wait? He asks, voice strained with need. Cassie pulls back to look at him, eyes dancing with promise and heat. Her smile holds secrets that make his body ache. That depends, she says, fingertips tracing patterns on his chest. How patient can a billionaire be when he really wants something? The challenge in her voice makes him groan with desire. For you, I'll wait forever, Daniel promises, meaning every word. Cassie's smile turns soft and real, the teasing mask falling away to reveal deep emotion underneath. You won't have to, she whispers. I've been waiting for you too. Cassie's fingers intertwine with his, warm and sure. My special orders are always worth the wait, she repeats softly. Her thumb traces circles on his palm, sending shivers up his arm. The simple touch carries promise of so much more between them. Daniel never wants to let go. The bakery door chimes as new customers enter. Cassie glances toward the sound, then back at Daniel with apologetic eyes. Duty calls, she whispers, but her grip on his hand tightens before she reluctantly pulls away. The brief separation already feels like loss. Daniel watches her greet the elderly couple with genuine warmth. She remembers their usual order without asking, chatting about their grandchildren while pouring coffee. But her eyes keep finding his across the space, holding connections that make his chest flutter with happiness. He looks down at the white paper bag on his table. The bread inside has gone completely cold, forgotten during their emotional confession. A laugh bubbles up from his chest as he realizes how little he cares. Food was never why he came here anyway. The morning light has shifted, casting new shadows across worn wooden floors. Daniel sees the bakery differently now. Not as his hiding place, but as where his real life began. Every detail feels precious suddenly. The mismatched chairs, flour-dusted counters, the way Cassie moves like she's dancing. She glances at him while serving fresh muffins, and their eyes lock across the busy space. Her smile holds secret knowledge now, understanding of who he really is. No more careful words or hidden truths. The freedom of honesty makes everything feel lighter, more possible. More customers stream in for the morning rush. Daniel expects to feel awkward staying so long, but Cassie's occasional glances keep him anchored. She's not rushing him away now that she knows his secret. Instead, she seems pleased he's choosing to remain in her world. Another coffee, she asks, appearing at his table with the pot. Her free hand briefly touches his shoulder, a casual gesture that sends warmth through his whole body. The simple contact feels different now. Intentional, claiming, full of promise for what comes next. Please, Daniel says, watching her pour with practiced grace. I'm not in any hurry today. The admission feels significant. For the first time in years, he has nowhere else he'd rather be. No meetings calling, no pressure weighing him down. Just this moment with her. Cassie sets down the pot and leans closer. Good, she whispers near his ear. Because I get off at 3, and I'm thinking we should have a proper dinner. One where you tell me everything about your real life, and I tell you mine. Her breath against his skin makes him dizzy. Daniel turns his head slightly, bringing their faces inches apart. I'd like that very much, he murmurs. The promise of evening together, of honest conversation over shared meals, feels like the most romantic thing anyone has ever offered him. "My place or yours?" she asks playfully, "though I'm curious to see what a billionaire's kitchen looks like. Do you even have food in there?" Her teasing brings back the flirtation he's grown to love, but deeper now, more real. "Mostly takeout containers," Daniel admits with embarrassment. "I forgot how to cook somewhere between hostile takeovers and board presentations." The confession makes Cassie laugh, the sound filling the bakery with joy. Other customers smile at her laughter, drawn to her infectious energy. "Then definitely my place," she decides. "I'll cook for you properly. Real food, not whatever fancy restaurants serve." Her eyes sparkle with mischief. "Fair warning though, I cook like I flirt, lots of spice, unexpected combinations, guaranteed to leave you wanting more." Daniel's pulse quickens at her words. Everything about Cassie promises adventure, complexity, the kind of life he's been craving without knowing it. "I'm looking forward to being surprised," he says, voice rough with anticipation. The morning customers begin to thin out, heading to jobs and obligations. Daniel should leave too, but his feet stay planted firmly under the table. Watching Cassie work feels like studying art, memorizing every graceful movement for later. She catches him staring and winks, making him grin like a teenager. The playful gesture holds new meaning now. Not just flirtation, but real affection, the beginning of something precious growing between them. His heart feels lighter than it has in years. "You know," Cassie says during a quiet moment, "I was starting to think you were too good to be true. Handsome, kind, mysterious, tips well." She counts on her fingers, making him laugh. Rich billionaire actually makes more sense. Universe doesn't give out perfect men without a catch. "What's the catch?" Daniel asks, genuinely curious how she sees his complicated world. Cassie considers this seriously, head tilted in thought. Her honest evaluation matters more than any business review he's ever received. "You'll have to teach me about your world," she says finally. "Board meetings, fancy parties, corporate stuff. I know bread and coffee, not stock options." Her vulnerability touches him deeply. She's willing to learn, to grow, to meet him halfway in his complicated life. "And you'll have to teach me about real life," Daniel counters. "Community, simplicity, finding joy in small moments. I forgot all of that chasing success." The trade feels perfect, her grounding him while he opens new doors for her. Cassie moves closer, pretending to wipe his table but really just wanting to be near. "Deal," she whispers. "We'll figure it out together." Her hand finds his again, and they sit in comfortable silence, fingers intertwined, watching the world move around them. The afternoon stretches ahead, full of promise and possibility. Daniel's phone buzzes with urgent messages, but for once he doesn't care. His assistant can handle whatever crisis needs attention. Today belongs to new beginnings, to choosing love over obligation. 3 o'clock, Cassie reminds him softly. "Don't be late." Her smile holds everything. Invitation, challenge, affection, hope. Daniel lifts her hand to his lips, pressing a gentle kiss to her knuckles. "I'll be here," he promises. The bread was forgotten, but their hunger for each other was just beginning. Like this video, subscribe and let me know. Have you ever fallen for someone while hiding who you really are?